Okay, guys, sorry. 3, 2, 1, go. Guys, have y'all watched Never Have I Ever?
I actually haven't.
Oh. Have you?
I have.
Wait, who's your favorite character?
Ooh, that's like a hard question, but probably Baby. She's like the most like interesting.
Yeah, she's like really dynamic, honestly. Like, I feel like, okay, my parents wanted to watch it. Guys, like, why would they want to watch it? I don't know, but they wanted to watch it because they thought it was about a show about a smart Indian girl, and I was like, guys, like, that's the least important thing about the whole show. Like, there's a lot of other stuff. But anyways, do you guys think that Devi's a good representation of like a South Asian girl? Do you think she's accurate?
I feel like they overdid it a lot. Like, her entire personality. I remember watching like a few clips online, and there was this one scene where she was wearing this blue sari with like the whole jewelry at the store, and some girl comes up to her and she was like, "Can I take a photo with you? You look like a princess." Okay, and she got all irritated and everything because she was having a bad day. Something happened with one of her boyfriends, and I was just like, I feel like they overdid it a lot. Not a lot of people dress like that, and especially not like don't go out wearing those clothes because those are more traditional festival clothes. So.
Yeah, that's true.
That makes sense, yeah.
And also, she got mad. I remember that scene. She got mad at that kid. But like, no one really does that. And also, I'm pretty sure Never Have I Ever is a Mindy Kaling show. Is that how you pronounce her name? Mindy Kaling?
Yeah, okay, that's
like
right.
the director?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And she's really controversial. Like, even in The Office, she had a tendency to like make her characters, all her Indian characters, really just stereotypical. And I think that's not how a lot of us are. And honestly, Devi was pretty embarrassing. Like, whenever I was watching the show, I got a lot of secondhand embarrassment because, like, girl, genuinely, what are you doing?
Yeah, sometimes she was just like really cringy, and it was just like, oh my gosh, like no one says that.
And the accents, like a lot of her mom and her grandma's accents are so typical, which is so which is such a stereotype, which happens in a bunch of shows. But as you said about the director, I didn't know that she was part of The Office, like the director for The Office as well. But I think that like, if she's making a show on South Asian people, she needs to have like a better like understanding of what they actually are like, and not the stereotype.
Yeah.
If it's a couple of characters, that's fine, but this is a show that's completely based off of South Asian people.
Yeah.
And also, Mindy herself is South Asian. So like, I thought she'd get a better understanding of it. Honestly, when the show first came out, I think I was like 10 or 11 years old, and I was really excited to get like some actual like Desi girl representation in mainstream media, and especially just like you know, it's like kind of like a Western show, right? Like Never Have I Ever. But I was like so disappointed when I watched it because it's just not real. It's not like what happens in real life at all.
Yeah, especially because it was such a big show, especially being on Netflix, and like it was one of the shows where it's like the love triangle, people watch so many of those, and it was like the first time including like an Indian girl, so
exactly,
it's just really big.
And I feel like when we like were little kids, like we were quite young when this came out. Like I think I was 9 when the show first came out, so it wasn't the most appropriate thing for me to watch at this time. But I've heard about it a lot because my parents watched it, and they actually didn't want me to watch it afterwards because it's kind of a story of a girl who kind of goes out of control because her mother is so overbearing. But that isn't exactly true. That's not how a lot of South Asian parents are. But the way that they've been portrayed just makes them seem very uptight and strict.
Exactly. Okay. What I think is that a lot of shows, they tend to, when they have like a South Asian character, they tend to make the parents of that main character, whatever character, really like strict and, as you said, overbearing. I don't think that's real. That's like how it is in reality at all. Yes, it's common for a lot of Indian parents to be like really strict or like not really strict, but they want what's best for you, and they will like make sure that whatever they do for you is like gonna help you in the future. But I don't think, what was her name? What was the mom's name?
Oh wait, I'm like blanking.
Actually, it's okay, but like, what was her name?
No idea.
I don't remember her name.
Yeah.
But like Devi's mom, I don't think that's just how it is.
Yeah.
At least for a lot of people.
And like the walking into her room when she was tutoring Paxton, was it? Or was that the other guy?
Oh, yes, Paxton.
And she was like, move away. You can move further away from one another when he had like a cast in his hand. And I'm like, okay, like nobody does that. That is just such a I don't want to say stereotype, but it's such a thing that they expect South Asian parents to do, which they don't. So I don't really know where it's coming from.
Exactly. Like my mom, honestly, she's kind of like the opposite of Davy's mom. Like my mom would be like, girl, you have to like go out and talk to people. Like you're just too shy. Like you have to like go out and do stuff and explore. And I'm kind of like, okay, whatever. Anyways, have y'all watched Pradeeps of Pittsburgh? It got canceled, but
I have never watched this.
I've
never even
this
heard
one.
about it.
really?
Yeah.
It's like, honestly, okay, I watched like the first few episodes. It's really funny. It's about a family from India who moves to the United States. I think y'all can imagine how that would be.
Yeah.
It was a lot of stereotypes. It was, honestly, like, a lot of it was relatable because they were talking about stuff, and I was like, oh, well, actually, I know this because I know we think like this, too. It's like, superstitions.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
oh, you can't cut your nails on Tuesday or whatever. Like, you can't buy oil on Saturday. Stuff like that was in the show. And I think it was pretty accurate, but there's a lot of stereotypes with it, too.
I think
Yeah.
that the inclusion of the superstitions, because the nail cutting rule is such a big thing for me and my family, and I don't know about the oil one though. It's probably something that we've let go of, but it's just one of those things that like it's actually really good to include them, because even the audience, even if they aren't South Asian, they're learning something new about
Exactly.
it. But I feel like the stereotypes, like I haven't even heard about the show, and I know there's going to be something about how the kids are getting bullied at school for having like smelly food, quote unquote, which is such a stereotype because that never really happens to anyone.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
You didn't get bullied for smelly food?
No, never.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, that's actually like
And
crazy.
then I
I feel
also
like
moved here when I was 11.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So
makes
that's
sense.
probably why. So we were in like middle school, so we were older and we didn't
Yeah,
do things
more
like
mature.
that. Yeah.
I remember when I was in elementary school, and do you guys know what, like, okay, it's called, like, I know in Tamil it's called Thair Sadam or something, but I actually don't call it that. We call it, like, curd rice.
oh yeah.
Okay, guys, like, why was I doing all that? But it's, like, called curd rice, right? And I used to bring it to school, and guys, curd rice does not have any smell. It's literally just yogurt and rice.
Yeah, it smells like yogurt. Like
It's literally just yogurt
nothing
and rice.
different.
It
And
smells like Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Chobani.
literally. And this guy who was sitting across from me, he was like, ooh, is that porridge from Goldilocks and the Three Bears? I was like, girl, that's crazy.
I had like
Porridge.
one time I had like idli at school and someone thought it was like a sugar cookie.
That's so funny.
Well, both of these occurrences, because I've never experienced something like this, I have no idea. But this wasn't like an actual like bullying experience the way that they make it seem like in those shows.
Exactly.
So I feel like, yeah, sure, like people have misconceptions.
Yeah.
It's just a lack of knowledge in the area, but it's not exactly like bullying the way that
Yeah.
they would generalize it in a South Asian TV show or like an American show made on South Asian people.
Yeah.
Exactly. I feel like a lot of these shows, they kind of like portray it as bullying. I think people are just curious, especially with like little kids. They're just curious. Okay, honestly, a lot of my like non-Desi friends, they wanted to try my food, and they would love coming to my house because my grandparents would always make the best Indian food for them. But I do remember this one friend, guys. Oh my goodness, every time she would come to my house and like she would smell like the food that my grandparents were making, or my parents were making, she would comment on it and be like, girl, this smells so bad. Like, this smells like, ooh, smell. Wait, guys, please. Like, I'm genuinely just like trying to act like her because I know her. But she would be like, ooh, this smells so stinky. She would go tell her mom, and then her mom would be like, can you guys please like calm down on like tone it down a little, like tone down the spices because it's like hurting her stomach. Whenever she comes home, she'd be like, it's hurting my stomach. Like the spices that my grandparents would put in the food. Have y'all seen on TikTok, like, what's her name? Margot Robbie?
Yes.
With like the Taj Mahal necklace.
Oh my god. It's such a scandal almost. And hearing about it, I think they were also talking about like they started talking. I was watching this little like Instagram reel or like TikTok or something, and it was like how they won't let like any brown people actually have it, even though this is part of their heritage.
Exactly.
And the topic came on Diljit Dosanjh, the Punjabi singer and songwriter who also shows up in movies and stuff. He wanted the Patiala necklace for one of his like red carpets, and they didn't give it to him. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
But I was just, especially with this, I think they ended up giving to previous years to Emma Chamberlain. And
Yes, yeah.
obviously
Yes.
she's like not in South Asian heritage at all
That
or
was a
anything
big
like that.
thing.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that on TikTok. I was like, guys, like, this cannot be real.
I don't know how significant the Patiala necklace is, but especially the Taj Mahal necklace, that is a really big deal. And just like giving it to an actress, it's not even like I'm not saying that actresses shouldn't, like actors and actresses shouldn't get it, but if it was like royalty or someone at a higher level, and it's not for a red carpet, because this is not a fashion trend, this is a timeless piece.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's really well said.
You can't really put it on a red carpet and make it like an item statement for a couple of hours, and then it's just hung up on like in a museum again.
Exactly. That's so true.
I feel like the worst part of it all, though, especially, is just like the misconception about like the actual heritage of the piece. There's so much like misinformation online about it, and especially after she wore it, people are just like not understanding everything and just like making up lies.
Exactly. And I remember you said something about like the writing, the inscription on it being in like Persian or something.
Yeah, it was like in Parsi or something, which
Yeah.
doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, because I think it was Persian, but some New York Times article said it was Parsi, even though that's an Anglo-Indian community, and that's not the language.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's not.
Parsi is like a completely like. Do you guys actually know like the story of the Parsi people? It's like when they came from Iran, like they were like Zoroastrian, like Persia, they were like Zoroastrian, and then they like went to Gujarat, and it was like everyone was like, no, you can't come in or something. But the Gujarati king at that time, he was like, well, you need to like show me how you're gonna help our community. So the Parsi people, they were like, okay, this is milk, and then you put sugar in it and it dissolves. The milk becomes sweet, but you don't see the sugar in it. And that's kind of like how it's like a metaphor for how they would like help the community, right? Like they're the sugar, and the kingdom, the Gujarat is like
The milk.
the milk.
Yes.
Yes. And then they just like dispersed everywhere in India. I think it's really cool. Honestly.
I heard something slightly different, but that I might be confusing it with someone else. But the Parsi group like lives like in the Mumbai area more now.
Yeah.
At this point in time, and I think they were from Angola, in like Africa. I think I don't know. I'm probably mixing something
I think
else up.
maybe because
Yeah.
Parsis like come from like Farsi.
From Iran.
Yeah, because like Farsi is a language,
It's
but
like,
like
yeah.
in India we can't really say the F sound. Like there's not a letter for that in their language, so it's like just pa. So we just made it Parsi. I think that's the story.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen like the Scandinavian scarf thing? I know that's pretty old, but I think it's still pretty relevant because I feel like a lot of like the big brands like, and then I think I don't really know, but I'm pretty sure is big on like the whole Scandinavian scarf thing, and just like putting the like it's like a dupatta kind of like at the back of the dress. I think it looks good, but I think you could definitely give credit where it's due.
Exactly. I think with the whole Scandinavian scarf, like I feel like it was an issue like a couple of maybe a year or two ago, but it's still prevalent in the sense that this is like it's really cute, but you're not keeping the original structure of how it's supposed to be worn. And honestly, a lot of these dresses are worn for like bridal parties and bridesmaid dresses, and they're used there, so they're mixed with a bunch of like pastel colors, which is not traditional in the sense. But again, what you said, we need to be like South Asian people need to be credited for the design, and it can't be called a Scandinavian scarf because I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just like looked like it was from Scandinavia. I don't even know where they came up with that.
Yeah, it's just.
I wonder.
Do you guys know about the Karak Chai, the whole Karak Chai discourse?
I actually haven't heard about that.
It's pretty recent, but essentially what it is like, okay, you know Karak, right? It means like hard or like
Yeah,
strong.
strong,
Yeah,
hard,
strong. And that's where the name Karak Chai came from, because it's from like South Asia. Mostly it's from South Asia. And as the migrant workers from India, they migrated to the Gulf, like in the UAE. They brought Karak Chai with them. And now it's just become a whole thing in the UAE, and they're taking credit for it.
Yeah, they're like calling it.
And they're
like
calling
theirs.
it Chai Karak instead of Karak Chai. And there's-
Changing the name
No,
will change the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think we should talk about like, I think a lot of people have a misconception that cultural appropriation can only happen from like white people. Like only white people can culturally appropriate another culture because like they think that white people don't have a culture or something. I don't think so. I think a lot of cultural appropriation also happens between cultures that in the East.
Yeah, especially because it's all so connected, and like especially in the past, like there was so much like connection between all the places, and then it's just like credit's not really being given to where it should be.
Yeah.
I think the white people being the one culturally like appropriating or like stealing a culture and then not giving the credit is only the reason why that is most of the trends and like most of the trends are started in either in North America or in Europe, which is predominantly white. So that's why it's kind of assumed that white people are the only ones who do cultural appropriation, but that's not true. As other places in the world are growing, like UAE, they're also more prevalent with like fashion trends and technology and things like that. So in this case, yes, they can also be the reason that cultural appropriation does occur. So it cannot be generalized to just white people.
But also, why do most trends start in North America or Europe? Like, I feel like I haven't thought about that actually, and now that you brought that up, that's making me curious.
Yeah,
like,
I'm just kind
why?
of like thinking about it too.
I would think this is all of my AP Human Geography knowledge coming back in, but I think it's a lot because of colonialism. The Europeans have always been super strong. They were able to colonize almost the entire world at some point, and they still have that power, even though they aren't doing the same things that they did about 200 or 300 years ago. They still have power. And then America grew to be this huge economy, which gives them that power, and it's a forum where people can do things that aren't possible in other places, like start fashion trends.
I feel like especially like in America, there's like huge influence on just like social media and being like on TikTok, and especially because like TikTok is banned in India, so like you don't see as many like Indian like creators, obviously, because a lot of them can't have access to it.
Because TikTok is such a huge platform for people to share these trends, and India doesn't have access to it. They're missing out on a lot of that like media-wise, and they only have access to Instagram and YouTube and other short reel formats, but which aren't as popular as TikTok.
Yeah,
that's actually so true. And you know what? A lot of fashion trends are also have also started in East Asia, like in Korea or in Japan or China. I know a lot of like current streetwear styles originate both from like African American culture as well as like Korean culture, or like, do you know what I mean? Actually, I forgot what the brand is called, but they have like a lot of people from America buy. It's a Korean fashion brand, and a lot of people from America buy this brand's clothes because it's just so influential. I think India has yet to like make a brand that's kind of like that, especially because a lot of people wear like, not everyone's wearing like fancy clothes every day. A lot of people are just wearing like normal street clothes every day.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of why.
I feel like a lot of brands within India are doing, like, they include South Asian culture into their clothing, but it's more casual, and it's by this designer Anita Dongre, who has a bunch of stores internationally as well, and there she sells more traditional clothing, but she has two brands within India called Global Desi and both of them sell like kurtas that are more like mix and match, so they aren't super traditional, but they still have patterns and embroidery that originally South Asian like traditional clothes do have. So it's like a nice fusion of those like worlds, because we cannot wear fancy clothes like that every single day, but they aren't big enough to be like international right now, and that's why this cultural appropriation is happening, because we don't have a brand of our own which is doing those things.
Something actually like kind of recent, it's like 2024, that same like designer recently like made a doll with Barbie in the thing. She's made the 2024 the Volley Barbie, like the dress for
I
it.
remember that.
Yes, it was so cute.
I know. My dad showed it to me, and he was so happy. He was like, you know what? I would have gotten you this doll when you were younger. I was like, oh. But I think a lot with like Indian fashion in India, it caters to Indian people, which honestly, that's like not a problem. That's really good.
Yeah.
I think with a bunch of other like Korean fashion brands, or like even Chinese fashion brands, or Japanese, I think it caters to a lot, like the whole world internationally. Also Australian. A lot of American fashion trends come from Australia.
Big one being Uggs.
Uggs, yes.
Really?
Yes. Uggs were made in Australia. And they used to be like sand. They used to be, you were supposed to wear them in the sand, like in the beach.
Yeah, they're not really. There's like
They weren't winter shoes?
No.
no.
Interesting.
I don't know how that happened. But
I don't know how they would work on a beach.
I think the design was different. And then they
Yeah.
eventually, like, expanded.
It's like expanded, but it's actually like two companies. If you were to buy Uggs in the United States, it's a different like quality and a different like thing, but it's still Ugg. But if you buy them directly from like the Australian company, it's a different like material and stuff. It's higher quality.
I was bought by like Hoka's, right? Or like they're like the same company now or something.
Oh, really?
So I think now it should be the same, but I don't really know because I don't know if Hoka's are like sold in Australia. Probably.
It sounds like an Australian name. I feel like an
Yeah.
Australian would say Herka. That was so cringe. Have y'all seen oil pulling? Like,
Oh
people
yes.
that make get ready with me's and they're like, oil pulling.
Oh, that's South Asian?
Yes.
Wait, I didn't know that. I've seen it like a couple of times, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like they put coconut oil in their mouth and then they like swish it around for like 5 minutes and then they spit it out and it's supposed to like make your teeth white and clean.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
That's from Ayurveda, which reminds me of golden milk.
I've heard about that one.
It's like just turmeric in milk.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just call it haldi ka doodh. I
Yeah,
don't know.
like-
Exactly.
Why are we calling it golden milk?
I was hearing about how Prada introduced this Kolhapuri chappal, which is basically like a Kolhapuri slipper. And that came from this small town in Maharashtra. It's called Kolhapur, so that's where the name comes from. And it's really good for the people there to wear those shoes. It's kind of like a slipper with like where like your it's not a slides, it's just like a flip-flop essentially, right? And it has like good support and it's made out of like the materials that are available there. And it's good for the climate and everything, right? But Prada actually essentially stole it, I should say, and put it on the runway. And they're calling it something super fancy. I think they're calling it boho slippers or something now. And I'm like, oops.
Guys, and like the way boho, the boho aesthetic is just like gentrified South Asian culture and Romani culture.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It just like combines both of those and then they make it like more westernized or more Americanized. And I think when it comes to like if you want to buy something Indian or like Indian-esque, like more like Indian culture, you need to support local artisans or like Indian artisans or designers, not like from these third-party companies.
Also, I heard that IKEA was doing this. When IKEA like comes to any country, they try to include some of their own culture, like the culture of the country, right? And which is great for the communities there. But IKEA, I think they were actually doing a good thing by doing this. I don't remember. This was a couple of years ago. But India has like those like, I think it's like jute, or it's like this wood material thing that they sew into like baskets almost, right? And they went to artisans in Rajasthan area, which and told them that if you like make these for us, and then we can like sell them, and they sell them for it's so pricey, even though these Rajasthani women that actually make it don't get paid a lot. So while they are giving them jobs, they don't get the share of money that they should because they're the ones making it. But IKEA does do a good thing about introducing that culture into the store so people are more comfortable buying stuff. They also do that with Kashmiri carpets, which is really nice.
Yeah. I think with cultural appropriation, we need to talk about cultural appreciation because when we talk about just people appropriating our culture, a lot of like non-Desi people, they get scared to whenever like say they go to like Garba or something. A lot of people, they bring their non-Desi friends to Garba and they oftentimes become scared to like wear a whole lehenga or something and celebrate and just be part of our community when that's just not how we are. Like we have a very like bright culture, a very bright community, just full of colors and fun, and we like to share it, right? We like to share our culture. So I think there's a fine line between cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation.
Yeah, totally agree with that.
Yes, I remember there was this one time, one of my friends, she had a big Indian Sweet 16, and she wore this gorgeous lehenga, and obviously she had a couple of friends that were white, and one of them is one of my super close friends, and she didn't have a lehenga to wear, of course, so I lent her one of mine, and she was like, is it okay, like, am I like wearing this right? Like, I don't want to like be rude to your culture, or like, diminish it in any way by like not wearing it the right way. And she was super careful about it. And I feel like because all of this talk about cultural appropriation happens, some people are genuinely scared to be disrespectful in any way or form. But this is not a matter of we don't want people to be part of our culture and enjoy our culture, even if they don't like are born into it. But it's more about how we're not getting credit for what needs to get credit.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the biggest thing.
That's the issue. It's not people joining our culture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You guys anyone can be celebrating our culture, and that's what we do at SASA. Like, that's kind of the main goal of SASA is to just like share our culture, be proud of it, and share it with others.
Yeah,
especially.
we want to make sure like people who are not even like know anything about South Asian culture or anything about it come join us, so like maybe they can learn something.
Yeah,
I feel like that's like the biggest goal.
Exactly.
One of McNeil SASA just started this year, but we have one member. We have a couple. I think we are on like 45 members right now, and one of them is actually white, and he comes to all of our meetings, and he's really good friends with me and the president, and he comes and supports us every meeting and talks about why he appreciates South Asian culture. And it's such a great like thing to see how people who weren't born into this culture are still so willing to celebrate it and join us.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And actually, I remember like, especially in the past years of SASA and even this year, a lot of like, we have a pani puri competition every year, and we get so many people from like that are not even Desi, they're not even Indian or like South Asian, and they join the competition, and it's just like so much fun to see other people celebrating our culture, especially when we were younger, like it kind of was like not really celebrated as much.
And I also just like love it when they like, oh my gosh, this tastes so good, or it's like, oh wait, this is really good, just like kind of getting to experience that.
Exactly. Or like if you're wearing a lehenga and they're like, oh, it just looks so pretty, like I love the colors and like the design and the pattern, just like it feels nice.
I don't think I've ever gotten more compliments on an outfit more than I have when I'm wearing a lehenga by people who I don't really even know. It's like I just follow them on Instagram because we go to school together, and they're not South Asian, and they were like, your dress is so pretty, and I was like, oh, it's a lehenga. And when we're talking about food, because they're like, oh, this is so good. At one of these South Asian events, there was a few friends of mine that were white, and one of them was Hispanic, and they didn't know a lot about Indian food, and they just had the stereotype once again that it's going to be spicy. But then we walked through it, and they actually did end up enjoying a bunch of those dishes because they were super similar. I think that there was this Malai chicken, which was super similar to like a roast chicken, just with a little bit of extra cream, and they actually really liked it. And it's just one of those things that we have to try new things, and I'm so glad to see people, because there's so much prevalence of South Asian people, that they are willing to try.
Yeah. And that actually, there's a misconception about like Indian food or South Asian food just being so spicy. I think it's more flavorful, and it has like more herbs, and like it has spices. It's not necessarily spicy.
Yeah, I feel like there's a huge difference
like
with that.
Cardamom, or like, do they put cinnamon? They put cinnamon.
Yeah, sometimes, yes.
Or like, I don't know what else. Nutmeg,
Yeah.
Or like hing. Do you guys know what hing is?
Yeah. I think it's called
acetophyta.
Acetophyta.
Something like that.
I've never actually been able to say it, but
Yeah. Do people even say that word?
Yes, some people do.
Yeah.
But I just call it hing.
It's so much easier.
When we're talking about food, I think there's like the difference between spicy and hot. I think it's a British English and an American English difference, because here when something is spicy, as in like there's chili or there's something like something that's like burning on your tongue, that's essentially hot in America, but it's spicy in like Great Britain.
Really?
Okay, but spicy also means spices like cardamom, cinnamon, nutmeg. So it's just a different usage of words, but when I say that those people think the food is spicy, they just think it's like chili and like something along those lines. Yeah.
So it's like mostly like a cultural difference, or like a dialect difference between British English and American English.
Yeah, and what they perceive those on, because hot means like warm hot, and then it can mean like spicy hot.
Yeah.
But spicy can also mean spices. So it's just a very confusing, slippery slope.
When you were talking about your friend who was like scared to wear the dress, the lehenga, that reminded me of a friend who, my friend told me that her friend, do you guys know Mozart's like Diwali party?
Oh yeah.
Guys, So they went to that party, and she was talking about how her friend was like super scared, like genuinely terrified to wear a lehenga because she thought that like people were gonna judge her. She thought she was being offensive, and when she went there and she put it on, and she looked great, she looked amazing. But when she went there, and all the Indian aunties there were like staring at her, so she thought she was doing something wrong. But my friend just had to tell her, like, girl, they're literally staring at you because you're like, it's not like normal, it's not like common for a white person to wear a lehenga.
Yeah.
So they're just staring at you because of that and because you look amazing. So I think we have to like also encourage our friends. Thank you all for tuning in to the 4th episode of Chai and Chill. I'm your host, Lakshmi Trivedi.
I'm your co-host, Maggie Aurora. We are so grateful to have... You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, so I'm Nysa, and I'm the vice president and co-founder of McNeil South Asian Student Association. This is our first year, and I'm so glad to be here, and y'all are such an inspiration for us because I think Westwood SASA has been around for a couple of years now, and when we were starting our club, me and Lasia, our president, and my other co-founder, we were really thinking about how to operate this because we had no idea. But we saw a lot of what you guys have done in the past few years and the people before you at Westwood SASA, and it's just so great to see that there's already a community that we can follow after and collaborate with.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And we're so glad to be like inspirational towards you guys.
Yeah, we're so glad that like you like kind of branched out to other high schools too. Hopefully maybe like Round Rock could start one or something along
I know
those
that
lines.
Vista Ridge has recently started one.
I saw that.
Yeah, so it's pretty great that a lot of high schools are now having a SASA because I hadn't heard about it before I heard about you guys.
Yeah.
Aw, that's actually like wholesome.
Yeah.
I am also fluent in Hindi, and I can read and write it, and I actually lived in India for the first 11 years of my life, so I only moved here about 4 years ago. And one other fact about me, which relates to South Asian culture, is that I practiced Kuchipudi, which is a classical Indian dance from Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, for about 4 years.
I actually do Bharatanatyam.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Do you
How
guys-
long have you been doing it?
I've been doing it since I was about like 5 years old, so I think like 11, 12 years.
You guys stay commitment. I did Bollywood dance for 1 day.
It's okay. I did Kathak for 3 days.
I really wanted to do Kathak, and then I started doing Kuchipudi, so I was like, eventually I'll shift and do something else. But then when COVID hit, I had to quit classes because online class just didn't make a lot of sense for
Yeah.
kids. But yeah.
So do you still do Kuchipudi?
No, I don't. Not anymore. Yeah.
My mom wants me to do salsa now.
Salsa?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So I guess I'll be doing that as well. But I'm also a Bharatanatyam dancer, and I did my Renge jump. Anyways, as we wrap up this episode, we urge you to reflect on a few things. Why do certain individuals think it's not that deep? And why are we as South Asians expected to feel flattered that our culture is being copied and profited off of? And what difference does it make when our identity as a whole, especially in Western society, is mocked based on our accents and those Indian street food videos that we see online, when our food and fashion are gentrified? And how can we educate our friends on celebrating our culture rather than making them feel isolated or othered? And that's why it's so important to us here at SASA to make sure we do everything in our power to celebrate ourselves, but to also empower this next generation of South Asian students. Follow Westwood SASA on Instagram at Westwood_SASA to keep up with future episodes and to share your own stories.
McNeil.salsa on Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So follow them as well, please. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in to this month's episode, and we'll be back next month. Until then, stay kind, stay you, and stay tuned for more Chai Chats. Bye.
Bye.